Hi friends. Today I want to talk to you guys about what could potentially be on and off of the next ban list whenever that's going to come out. I attended YCS Charlotte. I had a fair competition against a lot of what the decks were represented, and I want to talk a little bit about that and then give my opinion on some of the cards, and I'll have them up here on Dueling Book in just a second. But right now, what you're looking at is what the top 32 breakdown was. Thank you to Rain Man here. 10 Prank Kids Adventure, 5 Tinny Sword Soul, 4 Flu Wonderies, 3 Cyber's Eldritch Adventure, 3 Rose Dragon Adventure, 2 Pure Eldritch, Dramatica, Shadal, Sky Striker, Dragon Link, interesting, and Destiny Despia, which was fascinating considering that the structure deck wasn't even released yet. But mainly we're going to be looking at those top 3 right there, the 10 Prank Kids, the 5 Tinny Sword Soul, and the 4 Flu Wonderies. These are what I would consider to be the big 3 right now, truly. Eldritch is pretty far up there too, but it just kind of gets outclassed in terms of pacing and aggressive play style. So I'll go ahead and rip this band-aid off and let's take a look here. So a lot of this is not going to make sense, so I'll just go ahead and go card by card. I'm not going to waste your time. Let's just start talking about it. We're just going to go left to right here. So Brilliant Fusion. My friend argues that Brilliant Fusion is fine to come back to 1, and that is a very curious case. Because the Prediplant engine exists for it, you can essentially run, if this were at 1, what's it, I want to say, like 9 copies of this, or no, that would be like 7 copies of it, because you play the 3 Lone Fire, the 3 of the one dude that summons the other dude that searches this dude. So it could be very risky, but in this format, the extra normal summon and body on field and dump and the risk of it, that risk wouldn't really be there, but it could be an interesting one. And in addition to that, I know that Gem Knights are garnering new support, so this could present itself as an opportunity for Konami to push that. Next up, Heavy Storm. We have Harpy's Feather Duster. Why the hell not? It just is another card. We are spoiled for choice when it comes to spell and trap removal in the game at this point. Especially with the Sky Prison dude, you know, the level 10 that can reveal and protect all the back row. I think that it's fair to be able to bring something like Heavy Storm back, and it would also add in a little bit of nostalgia factor that some old school players may be able to take a peek at. Heart Pour, bring it back to 1, who gives a crap? Let us have our fun, it's totally fine. Max C. Called by the Grave. Called by the Grave, I think, should definitely come back to 2. It's a sacky one of, but it's a necessary staple right now. If you were to look at any of the Prank Kid decks that topped, any deck that has a 1-card starter, the 2 Prank Kid dudes I played against were main decking 15 hand trap. 15 hand trap. If that does not disgust you in your, if that doesn't like emanate a visceral reaction within you to play against someone who's main decking 15 hand traps, 3 of which are this son of a gun. Oh, not this, sorry, that's Flu Wonderies. But 3 of which are going to be the Biru, the big ones, the Gammas, the heavy, hard-hitting impact cards that you're just not even going to be able to do anything against with Called by the Grave. Not to mention the fact that Imperm is probably one of the best hand traps in terms of viability right now, because it can help shut off things that are annoying like this. I think Called by the Grave needs to just come back to 2. You sold your cross-out designators. It flopped over here because... but, you know. Anyway, Instant Fusion. Instant Fusion, I think, could probably just go to 2, and we'd be fine with that. You sold your ready fusions, and yeah. 1 for 1. This is a curious one. I don't see any decks truly abusing this card. When this card is good, it's very, very good, and I think that the viability of it in Yu-Gi-Oh's meta would be really interesting to see, because when it's at 2, you could start splashing it more as an engine type, depending on what it is that you want to play. For instance, you could play Effect Veilers and then be able to go into cards like Calci Fibrax. Power Desires. Why? I don't understand. Nobody understands. The inner machinations of man thought and complexity is... look, man, it's 4 in the morning. Cut me some slack here. I don't know how words work. Sekka's Light, bring it to 3. It encourages unique deck building design, just like Grass is Greener, which I think also, let me pull that up. I am going to look this up now. That grass is greener. That grass, yes. Come here. Okay, I'm going to put these right next to each other. That grass looks greener, and Sekka's Light. Degenerate cards? Possibly, but hear me out. They encourage unique deck design. I love that. That is what Yu-Gi-Oh! Needs more of. We need less and less and less of pile.deck and more of, hey, I have a grass deck. Hey, I have a Sekka's Light deck. Oh, dude, let me take a look at it. That's interesting to me. Also, Upstart Goblin. Why is this card at 1? It's been at 1 forever. The OCG has it at 3 forever. I think they just have a specific disdain for a certain human being that made this card popular. I don't know. Whatever. It should just come back to 3. Let me play a 37 card deck and then 1 attack OTK them with an Afterglow Prime Photon Dragon. That would just be the dopest. Fusion Destiny. This card, I don't think it needs to be banned, but it absolutely needs to go to 1. And really, I think everybody agrees on that, because the problem card needs to go. We could probably talk about that in the same breath, but we're just going to keep going across the list because, like I said, 4 a.m., cut me some slack. Don't cut me some slack. Rip me apart in the comments. I don't care. Let's have some fun. Hero Lives. My friend plays a hero deck, and he wants this card to go to 3, so I'm just going to put it on here for him. I love you. Salamangreat Great Circle. Put it to 3. Who cares? Draco Back. This is an interesting one. Draco Back, and okay, I just accidentally right-clicked it, but that's okay. Draco Back. We're going to talk about Draco Back for a second. This card's got some interesting design choices on it, man. I'm not even going to lie. Yeah, the whole Brave engine is just, that's what I think about it. Dimension Shifter, I think this card needs to get banned. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. I think this card sits right up there in the tier of Max C in terms of absolute sack. It is nowhere near as powerful as Max C. Let me get that point straight and clear. It is, however, in certain situations, just like Max C, just an absolute blowout. It is an absolute blowout in certain scenarios. And this is not bias, but against Photon directly, I can't send Photon Orbital to the grave to be able to search. I can't send a light monster in hand to summon Galaxy Soldier. And then I also can't just, get my trade and discard outlets in to the grave to be able to do stuff from... And you can't do anything against this card if it's just dropped on you. And what's funny is that it'll just get dropped on you for no good reason. They'll literally draw it and just go, oh, I drew it, pitch it, because why not? It's just that strong. You don't have to think about playing the card. You're going to be playing other cards on your turn, so there's no reason to hold on to it. It's literally, oh, I drew it. All right. I hope you drew the out. Oh, you didn't, because it's at 1. Get wrecked. Anyway, let's just continue down the line here. Yeah, Shelby, Artifact Scythe is the easiest pick, man. Who cares about Dagda? Everybody's talking about Dagda. Nobody cares about Dagda. Dagda is not the issue. Who's going to care about Dagda when Scythe is gone? No one. What are you going to do with Dagda when Scythe is gone? No one. Nothing. You get rid of Dagda, but you keep Scythe, people are just still going to play it. And then they're just going to, play 3 of the stupid Artifact Sanctum to summon it. It is the problem card. Just get rid of Scythe, and you don't have the problem. Scarlet Sanguine, I think, should either get limited, I think that'd be too harsh, or semi-limited. I think if you were to limit it, you would be able to encourage, let Elixir, more playability with this card right here. Because right now this card is just far and superior to this one. I remember when this card came out and everybody was like, oh, you gotta play 3. You kind of only gotta play 2. Okay, maybe you only play 1. Okay, you just don't play it at all now. And I thought that was really funny how this card just slowly got pushed under the rug. It's not good. I mean, it's good, but it's just not as good as Sanguine. And I think that Sanguine Gold Lord, the deck is just it's been really strong for a really long time. Semi-limiting this almost seems like it really wouldn't do anything because it is so heavily searchable, which is why I could argue for the limit on it. But I think a little slap on the wrist semi-limit would be just fine. This card, get rid of it. This is just, there's no reason for this card to be as strong as it is in Fluandereeze. Fluandereeze is no problem at all if this card is gone. Fluandereeze is only strong because of this card. I'm just unzipping and laying it out on the table right now. Fluandereeze players are in agreement with me, and they're cringing up because they know it's true. Your deck is not good if you don't have this card. Your deck is so easy to out if you don't have this card. If you have this card, I don't even get to attempt to play to out your stupid 2 negate, 3 negate board. I don't care about that. You do that, homie. And then games 2 and 3, I'll side an Tachyon Transmigration and just flip it against you on a Chain Link 4. And we'll just, scoop up your cards and your tears. But anyway, this card needs to go. It sees no play other than in Degeneracy. So, goodbye. Sword Soul. So this is where I was getting at with interesting hits here. Sword Soul is proven to be very good. And I'm not quite sure how you'd go about hitting the deck in terms of overall viability and consistency other than just hitting the court cards. It is kind of absurd to think about that you play 9 copies of Sword Soul Moye. Just right off the bat, they just had 9 copies of that card. That seems really hard, or that seems really overkill in terms of searchability. So semi-limiting both of these cards, I think, is probably the correct way to go. You could argue maybe just limiting this, or just limiting this. I don't know which way you'd like to go about it. I think a semi-limit on both would be just fine and dandy. So, with all of that being said, now let's go ahead and touch on the extra deck cards that you've been staring at this entire time. Electromite, bring it to 1. Everyone wants it. Colossus, no. But I can see the devil's advocate in me can see that this card could potentially come back to 1. There are cards like Nemesis Corridor that would be it would get Cupid Pitch banned, essentially. Because Cupid Pitch would be able to search Nemesis Corridor and then whatever combo that you did to... I'm literally thinking of a 1-card combo that I had going with this that I was like, oh, I can literally just end on Borreload Savage, Baron, and a Thunder Dragon Colossus off of 1 normal summon of Neospace Connector. I would be more than happy to show you that combo in a later video, but Cupid Pitch would end up having to get banned if this card came back to 1 because Nemesis Corridor is just way too strong. And for some reason, they would never want to hit Corridor. Goodbye, Meow Mew. You're not going to ever be missed. I promise you that. Same thing with Verte Anaconda. Look, I know Konami has a thing with keeping around their little holy trinity of Link 2s, where they have Isolde is in here as well. Isolde isn't getting abused right now. But just like your ex-girlfriend, she will keep coming back to get abused. That was inappropriate, but it was really funny. So, Anyway, so Verte needs to get the X. Fusion summoning from deck has always been a problem with cards. Case in point. And this, being able to literally turn any 2 cards, or any 2 monsters, into a fusion summon of any card is just... shit's just bonkers, man. Like, how can you possibly agree that this card is fair? It boggles my mind to no end how anybody could argue that this card is fair in any sense of the way. In any sense of the word. And you know what, while we're talking about it, Not you. Yep. Uno más. Thank you, por favor. This card is dumb. This card needs to get semi-limited. Super Polymerization is absurdly strong, borderline broken. I had this card resolved. This is complete bias with me right now. But I think Super Polymerization is just an absurd card. This card was banned, by the way, and then it was limited, and then it was semi-limited, and then came back to 3. And every time that happened, everybody was just like, what? It's off the... Why did they put it to 2? What? It's unlimited now. And now no one's just talking about it. Dude, this card's stupid. Look at this. Read this. Neither player can activate cards for face. Do you know what cards are meta-relevant right now? Forbidden Droplet. Dark Ruler No More. Cards you can't respond to. This card, in the proper matchup, Photon, is an utter blowout. Again, just like Dimension Shifter. I had 2 boards that were Photon Lord, Galaxy Eyes Soul Flare Dragon, and Cyber Dragon Infinity. And I was really sitting pretty with that, man. I was happy that I did that combo and they had no response. This son of a lovely mother and a father who gave birth to a beautiful child, that child drew Super Polymerization for their top deck. And then all of a sudden, it became the most trivial, activate, to get rid of my entire setup. Because draw phase, you activate Photon Lord and you get your search, and I'm going to search the backup for, because I didn't really care about my soul for a pop right there. I was playing against Fluanderies. So I was searching my backup and my backup card, and then they just go, okay, standby phase. I'm like, sure. Super Poly. Oh yeah, I just can't do anything about that. Okay. And then I scooped my Cyber Dragon Infinity and my Photon Lord, I put them together, and I proceeded to move them into the graveyard. Halky Fibrex, Needle Fiber. Let's talk about this guy here. Look. I just got an ultimate rare of this dude for like dumb cheap. And I still want him banned. This card has been a problem for so long. This card is the abuser of so much. There's nothing fair that you do with this card. There just isn't. To that extent, I would say also there's nothing fair you ever do with Auroradon. You banned Link Cross because you were able to turn this dude into 2 tokens, but this dude can now turn himself into 3 tokens and like synchro summon a crap ton. It's just, it don't make no sense, dude. It really just don't. So this card needs to go. Dude, Mecha Phantom, who's playing Mecha Phantom Beast? What on, I can count maybe even on one, not even on one hand, maybe even just on the little tip of my pinky how many Mecha Phantom Beasts players are gonna cry tears if this card gets banned. That's not even one. This card, no one's gonna miss this card. Why is this card here? Get rid of it. It's not fun. Nobody does anything fair with it. Bye. Anyway, Mirage Dalio can go back to 3. No one will care about it because we're only ever going to play 1. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Take care. Have a good one. Bye-bye.